In today's equity index futures markets, let's look at the Nasdaq futures as they're realizing some heavy selling pressure today. Nasdaq futures coming off the highest close for the month of April in the previous session to give up most of the price action yesterday, if not all of it. And we're seeing heavy selling pressure pretty much across the board today in the equity markets as all the major equity index futures markets are lower on the session. And I think when you look at some of the driving factors, really there's several themes here as we close out the week impacting the markets. Number one, data this morning, consumer sentiment data indicating that the inflation expectations increased on a month-over-month basis. Couple that with some of the data points we had throughout the week, and particularly the CPI data, which came in higher than anticipated. And that's causing concerns as far as the inflationary front moving forward and how the Fed is going to view that. And I think that that's contributing to selling pressure today. Probably the bigger driver today appears to be concerns about the Middle East and geopolitical tensions heading into the weekend. That seems to be impacting several asset classes today as we're seeing, again, energy moving higher, metals moving higher, the dollar moving higher, and then certainly heavy selling pressure in the equity markets. And we're seeing buying pressure in the treasury markets as well. And the third thing is some tech downgrades, particularly in the the area that's the Nasdaq's going to be more impacted by those big tech names. Some of the names that have really kind of led this market, maybe not the Mag 7, but some of the names in that AI space, we did see a couple downgrades, and that's filtering through, I think, the sentiment in the tech space today, and that's why I think you're seeing the Nasdaq futures realizing heavier selling pressure than some of the other areas in the market. And looking at the general trends today, with today's heavy selling pressure here this afternoon as we move towards the close, it does appear that we're going to negate most of the buying pressure that we did see yesterday and potentially put in closing lows this week lower than last week as we're looking at most of the major indexes below where they settled out last Friday. The one caveat would be the Nasdaq, but it's still at this point lower than where it closed last week. But across the board, some selling pressure today after the nice run up yesterday. And when you look at the Nasdaq coming off the highest levels for April, under some heavy selling pressure as we move into the weekend.